Buen dia. Howdy, welcome back to Single Black Man from Des Moines. My name is Al Simon Jr. A little about me: I was a dog handler in the service. I've worked in retail, healthcare, and libraries. I've taught Hapkido for over 20 years. I am currently single and retired from marriage. Now I'm a fledgling writer. From time to time, I'll read some of my pieces, both fiction and nonfiction, and time permitting, I'll probably tell a joke that I've heard from the past. I like to keep this around 10 to 15 minutes. I'll post stuff every week, so please like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to purchase my works, I have some things at Smashwords, or you can email me at al_simon@hotmail.com, and I can send you a complete list and prices of my works. If you order from me, it'll be cheaper. However, I only do PayPal. If you need more flexibility with payment options, then go through Smashwords. Having said that, let me tell you a story. This is part 3 of Right Away. Again, Right Away is about a martial art instructor and a renegade student. And this is chapter 3. 3 months later, after a diagnosed meniscus tear, surgery, and physical therapy, Dolph's cadre of 50 students dwindled down to 5. Sad but true, most students came either to see Dolph in action and or be taught by him. With him laid up and unable to teach at the level he was accustomed to, he canceled classes, and the students left by hordes. He had instituted a pay-as-you-go, getting a minimum of $5 per class for group instruction. His bread and butter were the private lessons, where his fees went from $75 an hour and up. As he recuperated, he came to the fork in the road most athletes in their twilight of their careers come to: the inability to perform at the level they're accustomed to. What was expected? He ruminated for several weeks before he came to a solution. Guys, he was speaking to Victoria, David Dar, and 3 other students. First things first, as long as I have a home, you have a gym. This injury has humbled me, made me aware of my mortality. I'm still relatively young at 40. I'm healing and expect to have a full recovery. Now for the good news. Laughter broke out across the group. I never liked my instructor, Mr. John. He was a bully. He'd want you to use your liquor rations to buy him scotch. Sometimes he'd smack you. That didn't mean I didn't respect him. I'm not sure if he had a career-ending injury, if I'd support him as much as you guys have done for me. Among the assembled, some eyes were becoming glassy. A few embarrassedly looked away and avoided eye contact. So, and his voice began to brighten, I figure I got a good 10 years, not on this earth, but to practice the art the way I want. While I'm still able, I want to put out some content, some videos, online stuff. I ain't gonna lie, this is to augment my income. However, I'm going to need some actors in my videos. They're going to get paid, so my next question is, who among y'all want to be actors in my videos? As if he had to ask. Chase McNamara knew Marcus Wheeler was Dolph's black belt. More times than not, it was students from other schools that went to Dolph to augment their training. The ones that came from Dolph either had a financial issue or an attitude issue. Upper echelon students, those brown belt and above, not only didn't pursue training from another instructor, they felt that they didn't need to. Chase McNamara owned and operated McNamara's Ultimate Fighting Arts Society. He got his black belt while studying at Iowa State. He focused on Taekwondo so that he could get in the circuit of competitions, and he did well. After he retired, he floated on his name and opened up the first of a chain of schools across Des Moines. Dolph still teaching out of his garage, although there wasn't an association of instructors in the city. Most were aware of their competitors. For the most part, Dolph was held in scorn and derision. That alcoholic that teaches out of his home, if he was any good, he'd have a fleet of schools with his name on them. McNamara tried to form an association, albeit his ulterior motive was for his school to outshine the others in the association, which Dolph James summed up his objection to joining the association. Right now, it looks like we're buying a bunch of trophies for your school. That pretty much set a death knell on the Greater Des Moines Martial Arts Society. Without Dolph's blessing, the group of smaller instructors lasted less than a year and ignited a flame of hate inside McNamara for Dolph. After seeing Wheeler watching his third class, McNamara walked up to him. Before he could speak, Wheeler came to attention and bowed at the waist. "Your mama raised you right." "Sir?" "Just kidding. You know I offer 2 classes free. I've seen you watched a couple. Might as well mix it up to see if you like it." After a couple of months, Wheeler fit in nicely with his students. McNamara never asked about Wheeler's status with Dolph. However, McNamara's students did, and more than one wanted to free spar to see what he had. This was the environment Wheeler was looking for. He didn't mind being challenged. He wanted it known that he was a bad motherfucker. Then there was another segment of students who just wanted to know what he knew. McNamara wasn't as tolerant of Wheeler having subclasses and quickly stepped in. "Are you teaching some of my students on the sly in my gym?" "No, Sabanim, some are just asking questions. If you're not paying rent, and if you're not part of my staff, you'll cease this bullshit immediately." "Yes, Sabanim." The only time McNamara broached talking about Dolph was when he saw advertisements in the Des Moines Register. While his black belts ran the calisthenics, McNamara would stand at a standing desk that was just off the altar. When he wasn't watching the class in the first 20 minutes, he perused a paper. After the drills, when the students were catching their breath and getting sips of water, McNamara said in passing, "I see that your instructor is hawking videos now." "Really?" "Just saw some ads in the paper." McNamara noticed a lilt to Wheeler's query. Now he became more focused on the lad in front of him. Most martial arts instructors thought of themselves as omnipotent, that they, and only they, were the center of the universe. Wheeler, to his credit, noticed that his inflection had been picked up on. He quickly added, "I didn't mean nothing by it, just curious is all. He's never done anything like that before." Still keeping an eye on him, McNamara settled back in his chair. He set his foot on the edge of the desk and slowly pushed an arm's length away. "It's not a bad idea," McNamara allowed. Feeling in the clear, Wheeler took a pensive tone. "I can only imagine the number of techniques he's going through." McNamara said nothing. "Dolph's an archivist. He's got a shitload of stuff inside his head, but he also has a diary of his training. Lord knows how many schools and instructors he's had. We weren't allowed to touch the diary. Well, it was sacrilegious to do so, besides it being worn and pages falling out. But a lot of us, now was the time McNamara to assert himself. I mean, students of his. We'd wonder what was in the diary, how much that book alone would be worth." McNamara never forgot that last sentence. As weeks went by and he saw Wheeler, the thought festered. how much would that diary be worth? The second thought was the amount that fucker owes me. All right, we're going to stop it right there. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to purchase my works, I have some things at Smashwords, or email me at al_simon@hotmail.com, and I'll send you a complete list of prices of all my works. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get Al out of the ghetto. And I'll close with this. He loads 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store.